Hi, hey, I'm Ace. Do you spend a lot of your time daydreaming about fictional lives that you're living? Maybe you're a superstar in one, or you're a musician or an actor. Do you wonder why you do this? Well, I don't know. But I'm gonna give you some insight into my experience with maladaptive daydreaming. So I started maladaptive daydreaming when I was about 7, 6, 8 years old, somewhere in that range. My earliest memory of maladaptive daydreaming was when my dad was driving me to school and the music would play on the radio. And when the music was playing, it was like some whatever rap song was on. And I used to imagine that I was a famous rap artist performing that song. One of my earliest characters' names was Erica Jones. This was a character that I created who sung these songs and rapped these songs, and it was this daydream that I had in my head, this fantasy that I wished I could live out. What differentiates maladaptive daydreaming from regular daydreaming? How did I know that I was a maladaptive daydreamer? Back when I was younger, when I was driving to school in the car, I could categorize that as normal daydreaming. I daydreamed in the car, then when I got home, I would just go back to living my life in the moment, not daydreaming. However, as I got older and reached my teen years, I daydreamed for hours on end. Sometimes for 4 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. Crazy amounts of time spent in my fantasy world, rocking back and forth, picturing these characters to get that feeling of validation. And it is like an addiction. I daydream for hours a day and it gets in the way of my life. There are things that I want to do. I want to write a script for this movie. I want to write a script. I got to do my work. I got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I can't because I'm just like, but I crave daydreaming so badly. I noticed that a common theme with my daydreams is either some kind of fame or glory, people feeling validated, feeling accepted, feeling loved, feeling some way honored. And I think as a child, during that time in my childhood, I didn't feel as validated, or I didn't feel like I was getting as much attention from my parents or from any guardians at that time. So I turned to my daydreams, and they kept me safe. These characters, they were like my friends. They held me. They were there for me. They gave me that feeling of validation and love and acceptance and glory, and that's everything that I wanted at the time. And well, now 12 years later, I can't stop. So yay! My daydreaming process is often saving an insane amount of edits to my TikTok or my Instagram, and I listen to those, I play those, I watch those while I daydream. I often have movements where I go back and forth, usually. Like a back and forth movement. Either I'm standing up and I'm just going back and forth. Some kind of movement helps to generate the brain. I don't know what the science of this is, but something about, like, before I used to just like jump up and down and then I would just daydream, just be off in this fantasy, living this character's lives. And now it's more kind of a back and forth motion. And I like to do it standing. I used to be able to do it sitting down, but now I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my brain anymore. Another most common way that I daydream is that I listen to some songs, some music. Like recently, I was listening to Get Me Bodied by Beyonce and imagining that I was a famous dancing singer named Lola Cancino. So, yeah. So obviously I'm not, but hey, it's the fantasy that makes it addicting, that makes you want to go back and back and back, because you can create these worlds that you can have anything, you can do anything, you can be anyone, and you can have this love and validation and glory that you've never felt. Common triggers for my maladaptive daydreaming are usually TV shows, movies, books, any kind of media that I can consume and I can see either a character, or if it's like media, a person who's getting a lot of attention, positive attention, either sympathy or validation, and then I will probably base a character off of who I see in the TV or in the media. For example, I watch House of the Dragon, And so I've created a character, fictional fantasy character in my head, who it's an original character named Vagon Targaryen. And I listen to the Targaryen theme song and imagine myself as Vagon Targaryen, rocking back and forth. And that's a trigger for me every time I see a show that gives me a new world to build on, and I can realistically see that character in that world. It works. Which is another thing that I want to touch on. Because a lot of people, I guess when they hear daydreaming, they're just like, oh, well, anything goes, like you can do anything. But I find that in my daydream, something has to realistically fit either in this world or the world that I'm portraying it in. Something that would not be validated in real life, per se. My daydream cannot buy it, my character being validated for that thing, if that makes sense. Like, whatever target audience I'm looking at, like, okay, let's say I have rock fans, right? A group of rock fans in real life who I am basing my daydream character to be validated by. And let's say my daydream character is a country music star. These rock fans do not like country music. And so I cannot, my daydream does not buy it, so it does not work. That daydream is kind of, I don't know what it does. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, it doesn't work for that scenario. So the things have to be like, okay, in the real world, something like this would be big. Some superstar like this would be big. So yes, how to stop daydreaming. Now this is the question. I've tried to stop daydreaming multiple times, but I always ended up going back to it. I tried cold turkey a lot of the times. I tried to do it like in, I only daydream for 2 hours this day. I only daydream for 2 hours this way. I always went back to going back to it. I always went back to it. I tried, just filling that time that I would spend daydreaming with either watching TV or reading a book. But as we know, TV, books, music, those are my triggers. So I'd see like a really good show and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could live in that world. I wish I could live in that world. I wish I could live in that world. Then I create a character that lives in that world. Yay. So I don't really know how you stop daydreaming yet. I'm gonna figure it out. Big brain right here. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to share this insight for anyone who feels alone as a daydreamer and they're just like, does anybody know? Does anybody know what's going on? What's wrong with me? What's going on? Why am I like this? This is weird. I just wanted to share some insight to make people feel, I don't know, seen. Maybe we could start a Maladaptive daydreaming community. Maybe we can come up with a recipe on how to quit. Multiple brains are better than one, all right? Okay, as much as I would love to sit and talk about daydreaming, because I could, I don't have a lot of storage space on my phone, so I'm gonna have to get off. But that's the main insight that I had. I wanted to make this video for anyone who daydreams and they're like, are there any other people who do this? Because I can find myself doing it for hours and hours and hours a day. I also made this video for people who do not know about maladaptive daydreaming as sort of an education video. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And leave me any comments or questions if you have any comments. And yeah, see you in the next vid.